What's up, everybody? Welcome to the One Life, One Chance podcast. I'm your host, Toby Morse. Today I have two very special guests. These two guys have known me a very long time, pretty much my whole life, I guess, because they are my brothers.
Not pretty much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my two older brothers, Tracy and Todd Morse.
Yeah. Well, I only met you when you were 3 years old, so I don't know what you did before that.
Okay, so
Yeah, I think he was driving around doing stuff.
there's a lot of things I want to talk to you guys about, and you know, I always credit both you guys first and foremost for getting me into punk rock and skateboarding, which I know pretty much didn't happen in Taunton, Mass, where you were born. It took place in Newport, Rhode Island.
That's true.
So maybe we can start with that, but there's so much more things. But first and foremost, like, which one you guys both got to punk rock? Who got into it first, or skateboarding first?
Well, I gotta say it was me.
I don't think it was.
It was me because I brought home, and this is gonna really age me, but I don't care because I'm good looking.
Hey, look, these guys. You should see these guys. The Morses age well.
Hold on. I brought home an 8-track of the Sex Pistols
Yeah,
and
that's
the
right.
Circle Jerks before either of you guys heard music, and I'm gonna call you guys both on it.
Wow.
You both told me it was
Maybe.
shit. You both said it was terrible.
I believe it.
It's possible.
I remember this.
But I also remember.
I thought I brought home the Ramones and Adam and the Ants.
There's no way we can figure this out.
think it's all like
I
the
feel
same year.
You got us into more the new wave stuff too.
Oh, yeah,
you,
maybe.
You were like
yeah.
original emo goth back then.
Yeah?
I think so. The Cure, all that stuff.
Oh,
You listened to a lot
yeah.
of that
I
stuff.
used to love The Cure and
So you think it was
Bauhaus and shit like that. And,
Yeah, and I remember you got me Back in Black 7-inch.
I did.
My first album was from when it was a 45. I swear to God, from that band.
And you know what? You play those songs right now, they still sound amazing.
They do sound good.
But how did you find out about the set? How did you find out about punk rock though? How did you get that?
Just from a kid in school. You know,
Okay.
I was telling this to someone the other day, like, you know, I never felt like I fit in. Probably my entire school career, even after I thought I was a cool punk rock kid. Like, I never thought I fit in. I didn't relate to the jocks. All the rock and roll that I love so much now, that is my main music, like the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, the Who, all that.
You weren't
stuff.
feeling it back then.
I wasn't feeling it back then.
I remember
wasn't feeling it back then because I didn't feel like I belonged in that group.
Gotcha.
You know, like I didn't have money to go to an arena or stadium or whatever.
Yeah.
And all
Do you
that
think
stuff.
because you're a musician, you appreciate it more as you get older and stuff?
Well, I was gonna say what happened was when someone gave me punk rock and it was just me and the one kid that gave me the thing, and no one else knew about it, and we just looked like regular kids. There wasn't like a punk rock look going on or anything.
Yeah,
but
there wasn't.
Like I was like, oh, here's something I can own and I can show to someone that maybe they don't know about already, so I don't have to compete with all these cool kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I owned it, but
You were the cool kid, dude.
But you're a good-looking guy, so you're a good-looking punk rocker.
I guess so. I don't know.
I mean, like missing teeth and shit. And like,
Yeah, he knows
caught,
so.
you caught me. I was trying to make a joke out of a brag earlier, but yeah, whatever you want to say. But what I'm saying is, with this other with rock and roll, like the stuff I love now, to me now that is more punk rock because those guys were recording without a metronome, with no auto tune. You know, they were just in the room making that music. You had to be good. You had to have something.
That's
you know
true.
what I'm saying?
It's true.
It's like, you know, if you put on the Stones' Bitch, that song right now, they had a song called Bitch before gangster rap ever existed, you know, and it's like,
Wow, I
that
know
song
that.
sounds punk rock, you know. But back then, to me, that was like the establishment, you know what I mean?
yeah. So what was your first show? Did you go to your first punk show before Tracy went?
I think I went first.
This is going to be,
It's all around the same time. I remember seeing, like, the Dead Kennedys at the living room in Providence. And
but I went in the back of a U-Haul. We put chairs in the back
I
of
have
the
it
U-Haul.
written down on my list.
Yeah. To a Black Flag show in Boston at the Channel.
that wasn't me.
Yeah. And literally, I remember we pulled in the parking lot in the U-Haul, and the doors opened up, and there was all the kids standing to look inside the U-Haul, and there we are in chairs. You know, no windows or anything. I don't know how we did that. And they're like, hey, are you the Sluts? That was the opening band.
Oh,
Yeah.
and didn't you get kicked in the face by Springer from SSD or something at that show?
Not at that show, at Bad Brains at the 930 Club. First
Damn.
song, Full Bloody Face.
What about you, Tracy? Was your first show Dead Kennedys?
I think that, I mean, I remember.
Would that have been in Providence?
You know, all in Providence, yeah. And I remember one show that I always remember is it was so long ago that I went to go see the Ramones, and the opening band was Jane's Addiction.
Oh shit!
It was the craziest thing I'd ever seen because they were like still banging on metal and shit like that. I'm like, what the hell is this stuff, man?
Wow.
It was pretty awesome.
I saw the Smithereens open for Ramones once. You remember the
You
Smithereens?
opened for the Ramones.
Yeah,
That's
Outcry
right.
did too.
I did.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
So then, did skateboarding come after that from the music?
Well, I remember I got a skateboard. I couldn't do it. I gave it to you, and
Okay.
you went nuts on it.
Wow.
I don't remember
Yeah.
how I found skateboarding.
Yeah.
I remember Thrasher
You took my
magazine.
skateboard and just went with it. I'm like, fine, I can't do it.
You didn't even try after that really with skateboarding?
No.
Do you think you saw Thrasher magazine before you skated?
I think I found out of bands through you guys and also reading Thrasher magazine
Yeah.
and the soundtracks of the Bones Brigade VHS things.
Yeah. I can't
The
remember.
soundtracks were like what I heard the music through.
Oh yeah.
Isn't it so funny though? I was thinking this the other day. I had like surfing magazines
Yeah.
and
I
skateboarding
remember that.
magazines. I got into the California culture before I ever got here. You know what I mean? It's just like
That is true.
And now
Yeah,
the
we,
East Coast.
we were addicted to the it was what was the surf magazine called? It was called
so it's just called Surfer. I thought.
I think there was another one. Yeah, we used to have I remember there was a stack of those at the house.
It's so funny now that I'm out here. I don't surf or skate.
That is weird. I didn't surf. You surfed a
I
lot, right?
surfed in the East Coast. Yeah.
So I would say Newport and Providence where we get into all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
And then you remember the America's Cup races where they banned skateboarding?
I do. Yeah.
We skate in the square downtown. The old lady got her ankle broken.
They
Right,
banned it in
right
the
by
whole
the
town?
arcade.
Yeah, then we went to City Hall and we protested with verbal assault guys, and so we had a City Hall. We went there, and then they tried to reverse the law. It was during the America's Cup races that summer.
Yeah.
Because we skated those on Thames Street, those banks, and lady got hurt and she tried suing the
This
city.
is where straight edge kicks in because he's gonna remember.
I got picked up by the
Oh,
cops.
yeah,
As I
yeah.
talked about mom in the part one of this, that I got picked up by the cops. They collecting everybody's skateboards and brought us down to the
I remember
station.
verbal assault. I don't remember that part though.
Yeah.
Well, Chris Jones and those guys were part of the City Hall making the thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of remember that.
You remember? Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, so Newport's where the punk rock came and the skateboarding came.
Yeah, everyone used to hang out in front of that arcade there on Thames Street. Remember there was like an arcade right downtown Newport.
With the wall. You used to hang out
With the
there,
wall. Yeah, yeah.
I got banned. Yeah, I got banned from there.
Like
Yeah,
that's where all
Tom
that
Morse.
stuff
Tom
was.
Morse was a wild one, believe it or not. So it's like you were out there.
Yeah, I drank some like grain alcohol and fought some people
And then we found you in Trinity Church Park
Yeah.
in the bushes. Remember?
Yeah, passed out out over a rock.
Yeah, you wild
Never
out.
forget that one.
I feel like you guys definitely scared me straight, and I appreciate that. But you guys did take me to shows, and you guys watched me a
Yeah.
lot. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember coming home once in the house, and the garage doors open, the smoke coming out, and shit, just like a movie. Some girls in the basement. You guys were hanging out with some chicks. I forgot what that was though.
It's a pretty good story because it's funny now, but we broke my mom's heart.
Yeah, she was like, "I thought you were a good girl to the neighbor."
Here's what she said. It was the neighbor. It was the neighbor. It was the neighbor.
Sarah.
Sarah, and she was like so bummed that we were smoking pot, and then she said, "Where'd you get it?" And the neighbor said, "From Tracy." And
Dude, let me tell you this whole story.
Hold on, this is a quote from mom. This is a quote from mom. I was just on the phone with your grandmother. I told them you guys were good kids. I'm gonna have to call her back.
Dude, I was such a nerd. I was such a nerd and just not cool. And Todd's like, "Can you get weed?" I'm like, "Todd's asking me to get some weed. Yes, I'll do it." And somehow I got it. And of course, I get fingered for it.
Oh my god! And then there's another infamous story too. Let's see what's on my thing over there. Todd, this is a famous story. Tracy, I remember I was upstairs with Todd, and there was a kid downstairs. It was Tracy's friend, and Todd had heard some things at school that he was going to put Todd in a trance.
Oh,
He was
that
like some
weird
guy
dude.
thought
Yeah,
he was
the
a
goth-
witch.
the goth
She was gonna
dude.
put spell on
Yeah,
him.
So I
yeah.
never seen Todd was getting. He's like, "Yo, I'm gonna fuck this guy." Todd was so pissed, and he went downstairs, and I creeped down behind him and I watched, and then Todd pushed him against the wall, and the guy was like, like if you could see now, I'm like hissing like a cat.
Yeah, he
Todd's
put his
"You gonna
claws
me-"
up and it was.
Todd's
hissing
like,
at
"You
him.
gonna put me in a
remember
trance,
that.
witchy
Yeah,
poo?
yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
witchy poo, put me in a trance." I've never seen Todd like get aggro like that before. I was like, "Holy shit!" And Tracy's like, "That's my friend. That's my friend." Dude, that was.
That was pretty funny.
It was a little bit of bullying that I'm not proud of, but I remember also
I never
being
knew you
like
were bullying.
kind of scared that he might do. Like I was a kid, I didn't know. Like
Yeah.
he said he's gonna put a spell on me. Is what he said. You know. So
The 80s. Weren't they great? No, that was it was 80s, like 80, I think.
I remember going like there was thrift shopping, all that stuff on Broadway by Thompson High School.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I guess that's pretty much for Newport. I mean, it was beautiful beaches we had there. We had such a good scene there and skate ramps and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then after that was Southern Maryland, where you refused to go. That was like 1983.
Yeah,
you were already
yeah.
18, so you didn't want to go there.
I was 17.
And
yeah,
Todd
I moved
had to go.
out, yeah.
Todd went against his will. Mom said that on the part one. She was like, Todd went there kicking and screaming. But it was kind of like an amazing thing that happened because that's where a lot of things happen with music. You know, think about it. We really didn't want to go there.
I mean, everything happens for a reason. I think that I probably would have been caught up more in the party. I loved music and wanted to be in a band, and I had like a little band in Newport. I don't know if you remember that DIQ, Delinquents in Question.
Oh, shit. But Roadside Pets was after. Okay, that's after.
Roadside Pets was
after.
Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that I just, out of desperation to get out of Maryland, I tried a little harder at music, you know, and started getting gigs in D.C. and stuff and all that stuff. So, I mean, I don't, you know, all those people are super cool and they all stay in touch with me and everything, and I don't mean to like disparage the place, but I get anxiety about being trapped there, you know. Still.
It was pretty scary.
It was pretty. I mean,
And you never came.
I did. I moved down maybe 2 or 3 years later, and then I lived like in a neighboring town with that girl Stacy.
You in Leonardtown maybe or no?
Leonard. Yes.
That's right, Stacy.
Yeah,
so
Stacy. Yeah.
Were you doing music then yet or no?
I've
Tracy's
always
an
done
artist. Tracy's an amazing
I've always
artist.
done music, like, and you know, not as much as you guys, but I did it. Most of my big stuff was in L.A. The only stuff
You were
we're
heavy into
talking
comic
about.
books too when you were younger. Too,
Yeah,
remember?
drawing. I was a cartoonist, illustrator, all that shit.
So when we moved to Maryland, I talked to Mom about this too. Like it was the first time we felt like kind of segregation and racism, and you see the Confederate flags and the rednecks and stuff, and like, and for us, like back then, it was shocking. We were in checkered Vans and maybe had our hair short or a pair of safety pins on our shirt. But when we came to Maryland, we were the freaks, and like there was no skateboarders, there was no punk rockers there.
Nope.
It was me and Todd.
Yeah.
And we went there, and I remember. Rusty's going to be on part 3 of this.
Yeah,
but
that's where you
first
met
time we met
Rusty.
Rusty, he was our maintenance man because mom had a job at Lexwood's Apartments, and Todd said, "Can I check out your board?" And Todd did a trick and broke it. Rusty's like, "Oh man, you broke my board," and that's how we met Rusty.
Yeah.
And then Rusty ended up stealing wood from the maintenance shed. He got fired. He made a quarter pipe,
Yep.
and he cut his Fiat, the roof off. We became like the punk rockers
But
in the town.
let's
And there was
not
all
leave
the
out-
fights there too, man.
Yeah.
Let's not
You
leave
guys
out, though.
changed his whole life.
Let's not
though.
leave out when we met Rusty. I thought he was like, you know, like 40 or 50 years old. He had a giant beard and long hair.
And the
Remember?
mullet and shit. Yeah,
and a mullet, and like, I when the Rusty,
was 12.
The Rusty, he was so young. He was, who knows? He was how young he was then.
Yeah.
Probably in his 20s.
He looks so old to us.
But but once he shaved, the Rusty I know now is he actually to me seems younger than when we first met him, like however many years ago. You know.
So I think that's where everything kind of happened, though. I mean, even you went there against your will. You met Rusty, and then you met Todd Friend, who was in that band Nerd Alert. Was Todd Friend in a band called Nerd Alert?
Yeah, but he didn't actually have real drums.
But how did you meet Todd Friend? Was that his high school?
That was just like it's the typical story that you hear of everyone in a small town. Is just like anyone that played music, I tried to find so I could play music.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
them.
yeah.
You know, it's just. And I made Gene Booth, the bass player in Outcry. I made him play bass and learn bass.
Yeah.
He wasn't actually a bass player.
But I think that's how a lot of bands happen,
Yeah,
like just
yeah,
naturally like that.
Yeah.
So Southern Maryland, there was a lot of crazy stuff there. The teen scene. So the Lexwood's Apartments, where there was woods in between that and our high school, so we could walk home if you want to use the bath, whatever. We'd walk to school every day through that path, and
Or in my case, smoke weed before class.
yeah. And there was a lot of crazy situations, man, out there. I remember one time, I don't know what happened. Somebody pulled like a carpenter knife on you, Rusty, at like a gas station about the school or something. Mm-hmm. And then it was that time at the teen scene in the parking lot. There's supposed to be like this fight. And then we came there, and then like something happened, and you like, we're all brothers, came in to get along. I remember Rusty told me about this in the fight, but we got punched. Remember Rusty got knocked out in the parking lot?
Yeah, no, we were just like
It was scary
we were
shit,
just,
man.
Like skateboarding through the shopping center, and there was a group of guys, and they said, "Hey, come here," and I said, "What's up?" And one dude just punched me in the face. But I'll never forget, like, it was like the weakest
Yeah,
punch.
Rusty said Target hitting one like that. It didn't even phase him. I remember this shit.
The guy just cold cocked me straight up, and I remember not feeling any pain at all or anything. I almost was going to laugh, you know, but it was a bunch of dudes. So
was that the fight at the teen scene or the roller skating rink?
That was in the parking lot of the grocery store,
Okay.
if I remember it, yeah.
So, did you feel like leaving Rhode Island was better, and you could focus more? And did you get good grades in high school too? Did you do good at Great Mills?
I think I just barely made it
Me
through.
too.
You know.
I said that before. Like I got straight Fs in phys ed because I wouldn't dress down and wear the sports with outfits. I was too punk for that and shit. But what did you do in Maryland when you were down there, Trace?
I wasn't there. Like, so I came down. I I can't remember why I came down. I lived with you guys for a while. Then I moved to like Lexington Park. I worked at I worked at the 7-Eleven.
Oh shit!
That's what I did there. And then like I worked in a restaurant. And
I'm getting anxiety thinking about all that.
I know.
Like,
but then like, isn't that where Shauna was from?
you don't belong working at the 7-Eleven.
I know. I was working at 7-Eleven, working in a restaurant. I can't remember. I mean, like I was just.
I
trying
did
to,
feel like we were in prison there for 4 years. It was only 4 years though.
Yeah.
It was only 4 years.
And the people
it was
that
high school.
Listen, I met some great people down there that I'm still fond of, and you know, this isn't anything on the people. I just think we were city slickers, and it's just you know, it was. I mean, obviously we went from there straight to New York City, so so that's what was calling us. That's why thinking about being there at that slow pace, and you know, no car, no money.
And then we started going to DC a lot, which is like 40 minutes away.
That's like
that was our savior.
One of my biggest memories is going to Baltimore with you guys to some show, or maybe it was Annapolis.
The Marble Bar.
Yeah. And then you start going to
the Loft.
the 930 Club and Posers and all that shit in DC. That was always a good time.
Saw some great stuff.
Yeah.
In Georgetown.
Yeah.
So I think that was our outlet too. We could escape Maryland, go to the shows on the weekend, see so many great Fugazi, so many great bands there. And
well, I
then
think escape is a motivating thing. You know, it's just like you do less in a place where you're overstimulated, but when you got nothing going on, you have to create it yourself. I think that's.
Yeah, I think that's what we did.
All part of why we're here, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the same. That's why people put on their own shows, do their own fanzines, do all that stuff. And then I want to, before we go to New York, or go back to Taunton, Mom brought up something that I didn't remember, that we did Grease for a summer in Greece. I didn't realize we did that. We performed Grease in our backyard.
Every summer with like the 2 girls down the block.
Yeah.
So we only had 2 people. It was like our.
It was 5 of us. That was
and you were the lead, Todd, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you,
I was I think I directed.
Are you
played
serious?
somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, and Mom would cross out all because there's a lot of sexual stuff in Greece.
Yeah.
Mom would cross out all that, but we would say it anyway. When you know.
Yeah. I was the director, and it was you and Todd, and then there were 2 girls. I wish I could remember.
So we did
names.
like 2 summers. We had 2 summers.
Yeah. Yeah, performing in the backyard for whoever.
You are supreme and chicks will cream. That's one of the.
Oh
lines.
yeah.
Yeah, no, she crossed that off.
Cross that off.
Yeah.
And then,
Pussy wagon too. Like,
ain't no bragging. She's a real pussy wagon.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit,
yeah,
those are
yeah.
the lyrics in the songs.
Yeah.
And you guys remember having like big wheel races down the hill?
all that shit.
Oh yeah.
Green Machine, all that stuff.
Totally.
It was like dirt at the bottom. And you guys remember how we
used to have a dog that would tow you down the street.
what was the dog's name? Puddles? No,
It was before Puddles.
Okay.
King.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys also remember having the G.I. Joes in the backyard where like you dig the swamp? We had like a
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That
Those
was in
things would be
Taunton.
worse than bank right
That was
now.
in, that was in Taunton. We had a giant backyard. I still think about that yard.
Yeah.
It was like
With
a
the
size
shed
of
and
a,
all
size of a
that
baseball court. We tore down the entire.
Oh, so we knocked the shed down. Why?
We knocked the
I don't
entire
remember
shed
why.
threw
down.
rocks at it all summer?
Yeah, we messed it
Yeah.
up.
We throw rocks at the neighbors. We
And then mom remember I used to smash the eggs in between both things.
yeah.
Well, we had that whole block. Like when I was back in Taunton, there was a block. There was Cooper Street and some other street. So I was born on one corner. You and Todd were born on the other corner, and then we lived on the other corner. So it was like we spent our entire lives until we moved to Newport just on that one block in Taunton.
And that was not the 5th Ward. That was in Rhode Island, correct?
It was right. 5th Ward was in Newport, yeah.
Okay, awesome. And then also one thing that I talked to Mom about too is that we've been told our whole lives that we were a Native American. We're not. Like,
I know.
We told we were Cheyenne. And I got the 23andMe, and I'm not anywhere near that.
I was told we were Iroquois.
Yeah.
Iroquois, Cheyenne. And I wonder where and Mom just said because Dad had the features, and I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I know. Yeah.
Yeah,
that
but
was-
I just hung out with oh my god, I'm blanking out. Cousin Peter Morse.
Okay.
And that dude looks straight up like a Native American. I mean, we had this conversation because he did the 23andMe too. He's
Okay.
even got Native American tattoos on him.
No way.
Yeah,
and,
he
and he
does.
has nothing. He's not.
It says it's nothing, but to me that says there's something wrong because you got to look at this guy and you got to look at Dad. They look
Yeah.
straight up Native American.
Well, allegedly,
So maybe-
our grandmother on our dad's
Mom.
our dad's mom was Native American. Like that was the story I've gotten from cousins, but I mean, it doesn't show.
Maybe
up.
23andMe is wrong.
I don't know. Maybe it was only 22 and me with you.
22 and a half.
It's like anything in life. It's like, you know, I always believe my eyes more than anything. You know, like literally as Peter Morse was telling me about the 23andMe thing and showing me his tattoos, I'm looking at him going, then
does,
why do you look like this?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's like
Yeah. So then, okay, let's fast forward a little bit too. So then, Tracy, you're in Maryland, and then I moved to New York when I'm 18, and you come after me. You come soon after me because I looked at a postcard from the other day. What did you stayed there for a little while, Tracy, or no?
I went back to Newport.
Okay.
I drove you up and dropped you off.
With Dave Weiskopf.
I don't know if he was.
The Dave Weiskopf, there's a white station, right? I remember that, CBGBs, I remember that. And then soon after you came, and your band Outcrowd moved there to Jersey, right?
Yeah.
And Outcrowd was Todd Morse, Todd Friend, and Gene Booth.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
we had that house in Jersey City,
which was like $1,000 for a 3-story. It was amazing.
right? And we were the only white people in the Filipino neighborhood. And I remember they wouldn't sell me weed because they thought I was a cop. The kids on the street.
So by all accounts, Todd should be straight edge.
Yeah.
It's too hard for him to get drugs.
It's difficult.
That neighborhood completely changed now.
Yeah.
But Todd Friend still lives there.
Yeah.
Todd Friend still lives there?
Shout out to Todd Friend, still lives in Jersey.
You know what's crazy too is that Eric Rice got John Mock to move in, his friend from Buffalo, and his dog fucking shit all over our house. Remember?
I do remember that.
Remember that? And now John Mark is known as Chow. He's the bass player in Stone Sour, and I'm getting ready to go on tour with Stone Sour. And Roy, who did front of house for H2O, is the drummer in Stone Sour.
Wow.
I'm
and they're
getting ready to
massive
go
bands.
on tour with them in Australia right now.
Shout out to John Mack, man. Zero Tolerance.
They don't
in
call
New
him
York.
John Mack no more. He's got a new name.
Mr.
It's like
Chow?
Chow Maestro, Monstro or something.
So,
Wait, I remember coming to see you in New York, and I think you lived in a closet.
I
that
lived in
point.
Queens, in Jackson Heights, in the
yeah.
closet. I'm going to get to that one episode.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've lived in the
Sorry,
closet
yeah.
too. You?
Huh?
You're the only guy that hasn't lived in the closet? Oh, you've been out your whole life. That's
I've been
right.
out my whole life. I'm quite happy out of my closet.
So, all right. So just a couple of
See what I
things
did there?
before we
That was
move
good.
forward to New York shit.
Yeah.
So I was telling Mom the memories I have of Dad is the carriage, of course, that he wheeled us in.
Yeah. Well, it
and
wasn't a carriage; it was a stagecoach.
stagecoach,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then stepping through the glass at the beach.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was traumatic. Yeah.
But that was about. Do you guys have some cool memories that I might not? I mean, most of the memories I have are through you or through a photo or two. It's all stories.
I have a memory that it's not all that cool, but I can still visualize it to this day. Dad was asleep on the couch, and I went and pulled his hair, and like without even opening his eyes, he slapped me right across the face.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think about that all the time because
Holy
true,
shit.
my daughter will just jump on me when I'm sleeping, and I have zero violent reactions anymore. You know, so
me either.
it's like, so
Do you feel like you're more violent as a kid, like at anger issues?
yeah, I feel like violence for me was acting out to get noticed, or you know, to just for someone to do something about my life. You know, I don't know.
You wild out in Rhode Island mostly.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm a violent person.
Nah.
There was a while where I carried around a part of me that could easily be triggered. You know, like I don't know how long ago this was.
Yeah.
You know, like
Your 20s.
probably the last time I had any kind of like someone threw a drink in my face like 12 years ago, and I without even thinking it, I punched him in the face.
Where was that?
That was at the Key Club. That was
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. All I remember about Dad.
But I didn't even know. I didn't even have a thought with it. It was just
A reaction.
yeah, and that scared me a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm not a violent person a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think none of us are.
Well, here's the thing. Like I've thought about.
I got caught up before. You get caught up too.
Yeah. But I thought about this a lot because, you know, Dad died when I was 8. Todd was 7 or 6, right? And you were 3, right? So we're all dads now.
Yeah.
And for me, because I have the most memories, I never saw Dad get sick or anything. Like he was just Dad. Like he came and he got shit done. He'd work like 40 hours a day and still play with us for 8 fucking hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like his effort as a father. That's all we saw because we never really got to see him as a person. You know, with Mom,
Yeah.
we've seen her come as a mom and a person and all
Yeah.
this stuff. So Dad died a hero to me, and he died a hero to really all of us.
Yeah.
Because that's what our memories have.
Yeah.
And so most of my memories of him are kind of, you know, in that zone. The way he did the stagecoach for us, you know, the way he would always make time for us. You know, but
It's all great memories.
it's all great memories, but also finding out that, you know, we lost. So when Dad died, we had uncles around us all the time.
Grandma,
We had
grandpa too, yeah.
Yeah, they're all around. But through these stories, once Dad died, our uncles kind of moved away because their wives,
his side of the family.
his side of the family moved away because their wives didn't want the men hanging with now a single attractive woman with 3 kids
Interesting.
who had needs. They were jealous of our mom.
Wow. I didn't
So
know
that's
that.
why they kind of bounced and kind of moved into the background.
Interesting.
And then once you got, I'm not saying this is a bad thing or
Yeah.
anything, but like once you guys started, having your careers, we had Morses falling out of the,
Come out of the woodwork, man.
you know what I mean?
So many.
And so there's a lot of things I found out about Dad I didn't find out until maybe 15 years ago. And things that Mom never knew about Dad either, which is kind of insane because it's like Tracy Morse in Troy, New York, he was a badass motherfucker. He was the leather jacket, cigarettes in the
Elvis
thing.
looking dude, yeah.
I knew that.
James
looking
Dean
at all
Elvis
that stuff.
looking guy, yeah.
He was in gangs. He put a cop through a plate glass window one time.
Holy
Got away
shit.
with it because Tracy Morse, like the Boy Named Sue thing, he had to be bigger than his
Ask
name.
Mom too. He was notorious kind of.
Notorious. And like
He was like the local tough.
yeah, and so I went to a wedding of our cousin Millie Morse, maybe
Yeah,
10
shout out
years.
to her,
Yeah, 10 years ago, and our remaining uncles are there. There was one uncle that Dad had tattooed
Wow.
his own name with the thing on his arm.
Damn.
And he was telling me stories about breaking into gun shops and how he almost killed his grandfather. Our grandfather. Our grandfather was a terrible person. You know all those stories, right?
I heard those stories.
Okay.
From Mom.
Yeah. He was really bad.
Well, our grandfather, his dad was a wrestler.
Yeah,
This
and
is
a
bef-
lumberjack.
Yeah, this is before wrestling was like on TV and all that. This was like brutal, like at the town,
Yeah.
VFW hall type.
Like a
wrestling.
Fight Club type shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know that, our grandmother killed our grandfather.
Did you know that,
right?
Todd?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
You don't know?
Yeah.
So
He abused her all the time, and
Yeah.
one time she picked up a shotgun and killed him.
no, she picked up. You didn't know that? Okay,
I
so
remember.
our grandmother killed our grandfather. He was a alcoholic, just an awful.
Not our
awful-
Grandma Rita.
No,
Okay.
our
Dad's
dad.
parents.
Okay, dad's
yeah,
parents, okay,
yeah. So our allegedly Indian grandmother killed our dad's father because he was an alcoholic. They lived
beat her.
There was like 6 kids living in this like no hot water apartment like in upstate New York,
Troy.
And he came home one day with a steak with 3 of and he wasted with a couple of his buddies. He's like, cook the steak for us. And she's like, you haven't fed the fucking kids. Like, I'm not going to cook a steak for you and your friends. He's like, don't mouth off of me. And she fucking grabbed a gun and just shot him.
Holy shit.
But okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say, here's the thing. This is why Dad ended up, passing away early. What he passed away from, if he had had health care, if he
That's
had
what Mom
stuff
said,
like,
too.
nowadays he would have lived through that
Been
no
cured so
no
easy.
problem. But he ended up on the streets because back then, women that did that they put him away. They put him in jail or in a crazy asylum.
Even self-defense.
They didn't get the self-defense defense because it was super sexist.
But the thing is, our grandmother did get that.
Really?
And I have the article for it. So what happened was,
Wow, man.
yeah. So what happened was, the 2 days before our grandmother killed our grandfather, our dad found a gun in a dumpster with 1 bullet in it, and brought it home.
Holy shit.
And that's the gun she killed our grandfather with.
Okay.
And when
Was that gun
is all
was
news
that
to
gun
me.
used already by somebody?
who knows? I have I have the
Wow.
newspaper
This is
articles. I have
fucking
to show you
crazy,
the newspaper
man.
article. So what happens is, the cops come and our dad runs out with the gun, saying, "I did it, because he didn't want mom to go to jail. His mom to go to the jail.
Holy
this
shit.
is all new to me,
This is
bro.
crazy.
So this is what I got from all the uncles in the newspaper article.
Okay.
So the cops are like, nah. They take in our grandmother for 24 hours. The mayor of Troy, New York, and his wife bail her out because they know what a fucking jackhole our grandfather was.
Holy
He
shit.
said, "You're good," and that was it. That was the entire thing.
What year was that, you think?
1961.
Holy shit.
Wow.
I didn't even know that, man.
I got all the paper.
I knew
I got the
I knew
newspaper
about it.
articles.
I
got
didn't
everything.
know
I'll
the
show it to you,
details
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I got this all from our uncles and the newspaper stuff.
That is crazy,
Dad's
man.
got he has some crazy stories. It was I'll tell you just one more story.
Yes, please.
Uncle Arthur or Walter, the one that Tracy tattooed.
Yeah, the
our
ones
dad.
in Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I met them.
So, Dad, the weakest one, our dad was like, "Okay, go steal a gun and you can fucking hang out with me." And our uncle's like, "I don't want to go steal a gun." He's like, "Go steal the fucking gun. Go in that gun store, steal the gun." This is 1957 or
Holy
something like
shit.
that. So Arthur goes in, looks around, steals a gun, puts it in his pants. He's walking out. And the guy's like, hey, sorry, take the gun.
Yeah.
You want to just put that back? And my dad comes in. He's like, Arthur, are you fucking stealing? And he beats Uncle Arthur to a pulp in front of the guy in the gun store so we won't get in trouble for stealing the gun, even though he was already good for stealing the gun.
Oh, my God, dude.
And, like, drags him out of there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
wish
I
you
do
didn't
have some
tell me
good
that
dad
story.
stories.
Why?
It's a great story. It's really good. Yeah.
Holy shit, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, so, shit, man. So those are like some of the... All right, so we know we're not Indian.
That's real shit. How do we go from there?
So are we shy? So are we shy in
I
India?
think it's hilarious.
Are we shy in India or not?
I don't know.
23andMe wrong.
I don't know.
I can't trust it. No, I don't know.
You know what's crazy too is that Mom had all three of us while she was chain smoking, and we turned out wonderful.
Well,
Yeah,
none of us addicted to cigarettes.
Me and Todd
hold on,
did.
Mr.
Me and
PMH.
Todd
Let's
did.
not spread that message. That doesn't mean it's all right.
Oh yeah, I mean that's fucking 1960s.
Yeah, but
yeah.
it doesn't matter. We're
I
still
know.
humans.
But
it
back
wasn't-
then they
it's not
smoked in
good.
airplanes anyway. So I mean,
It's not good.
I know.
But that's her
it's like-
fallback
But
for
we're-
everything,
but
right? I
we're-
smoked
we're-
and I drank with you guys. You guys
And listen, this
but
is,
we're proof that doesn't really fuck you. Well, we're all fucked up.
This is-
but-
this
We
is
could be
what-
rocket scientists.
this is what gets me. And obviously, Mom's going to listen to this, and I'm not.
no,
probably
she,
won't.
she made a promise not to, actually.
I'm gonna diss, I'm not dissing my mom, but she's like, Todd, we didn't know back then, and it always strikes me that weird that like, how do you not know that lighting something on fire, like people die in buildings that burn down from smoke inhalation. Like,
Yeah.
you can't say that you didn't kind of know that it probably wasn't good for you. You know, it's just like,
But people didn't have the access to information that we do.
Yeah.
And advertising and promotion.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no
stuff.
internet too. It was just
You know, there was
newspapers
no
and
internet,
billboards and shit.
And of course, back in those days, it's like have a smoke, make yourself
Yeah.
feel better, give your kid cocaine. It's just the
Oh,
way
yeah.
it is. Just, you know, but I'm serious.
But
like,
everybody smoked
Everybody smoked because
and drank.
because it was the way the government, it was the business. It was like people were just forcing fucking cigarettes down
It was the
people's
American
throats.
way. It was part of the culture.
to this day, there are people that whatever their doctor tells them to do, whatever their doctor tells them to take, they take it and think it's okay because it's the doctor telling them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
doctors are human and they're flawed and they're influenced by the drug industry and you know.
It's a bigger
If
conversation.
anything I got from punk rock was question authority. You know,
Totally.
question everything.
Totally.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't make me a skeptic because I'm not, especially ever since I had kids. I'm not a cynic. I'm not whatever. I'm finding my own truths and what I believe, and most of them are very simple and based on
Yeah.
nature. You are what you eat. It's like the most
So true.
beat up,
It's so true.
the most beat up phrase ever that no one ever thinks about. I'll go to the doctor and tell them I'm a vegan. They'll go, oh, okay. I can't remember the last time a doctor asked me what I eat.
Yeah.
You know,
It's true.
It is the fundamental of health, what
Yeah.
you put in your body, and
I
doctors
agree.
don't even ask you about it. You know,
It's true.
It's crazy.
Most doctors get a day of training in nutrition. That's it.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Like now that we're all older and we're dads, we're all vegans.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Came full circle. And mom's like pretty open minded to it
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
She even mentioned on the podcast she would consider getting a tattoo, but wouldn't tell anybody.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go.
I don't preach. I try not to like preach on veganism.
Me either, man.
whatever,
I hate that
whatever.
approach.
But all I tell people is the best thing you can do to them. Watch What the Health on Netflix.
Me too.
Watch What the Health.
It's perfect.
That
threw me over the
just
edge.
that documentary has converted friends of mine.
Yeah.
Has
Just regular people too.
Yeah.
My neighbor too, like just random people.
Yeah.
Who know nothing about it. Okay, now I want to go to. You guys both went to college, correct?
I didn't complete college. I took classes in St. Mary's College and at RISD, Rhode Island School of Design.
And what was your major?
Art.
Okay, you're a great artist, man.
Thanks,
People
man.
see Tracy's
Thanks.
work. Tracy's a lot of artwork for us too.
Yeah, I
back in
wish
the
you
day.
still did that more.
And you might too. And then and Todd, you went to college too, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I got in a car accident.
I remember that.
And the guy that was driving was drinking, so I don't even know what was happening. Like, you know, I got my little toe cut off. I was in shock.
remember that.
I never had any pain because I was all in shock, whatever. And I didn't even know, but suddenly I got like $40,000 from an insurance settlement. So
Shit, that was a lot of money back then. It's a lot of
Yeah.
money now. Fuck.
yeah, so I bought a car and I put myself in college. But what happened in college was I realized that I was in college because I wanted to meet girls and I wanted to play music, and I wasn't taking it any serious.
Yeah,
seriously
I mean, a
at
lot
all.
of people do that, I think too.
So I ended up selling my car and buying gear instead. So, and starting the Outcrowd band.
Yeah. So, did you do good in high school, Tracy, or no?
Yeah, well, the thing about high school is that, I did, but I didn't apply I was straight B's and I did nothing. Like if I put some application into it, I probably could have done better. But school was really, I was in the brain during school time where it was easy. I did
That's
something.
the other thing I've been talking about too is like school. Like, why doesn't anyone teach you in high school how to balance a checkbook, change a tire?
Because we're men, we don't get to go to home ec.
Or the basics of marriage.
Yeah.
Like shit you actually need.
Yeah, that's they talk about that in hip hop a lot now too, with the young rappers just wasting all the money and nobody taught them
about investing.
All that shit,
I didn't start investing
money,
until I was in my 40s.
Yeah.
Like it's like if someone had told me that, when I was like 16.
Do you feel like the change in the tire and like the manly stuff is because we didn't have a dad?
Well, I didn't.
Just like the manly stuff, like change a tire, build a shed, fix that. You guys handyman, like, could you guys fix things? I can't fix shit.
I can't do it either.
And that's I'm not saying that's an excuse.
I don't have
a grown ass man.
I don't care about sports either.
I know, we've had a lot of years to learn how to be like that.
Yeah.
But if we were around it growing up, maybe like with a hammer and nails to build this shit or change a tire.
Yeah.
I mean,
Our dad was a
I don't use it as an
carpenter.
excuse.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean, though. Just some of the manly traits because you're raised by a woman.
Yeah. You also have to have an interest in it, and I think it helps to have like an instructor. Like, I don't know. I like to think that you stay young by always wanting to learn something new.
Yeah.
You stay young by not knowing that you don't know everything yet, and there's so much more you got to learn. I'm learning how to build a website right now. I never wanted to build a website. I never wanted to know what code was. I always just hoped someone else would do that for me, and I was just playing
you had
music.
somebody do it, yeah.
But I'm in the situation now where it's to my benefit if I know how to do it, if I know how to do it myself. And now that I've gone over the hump of like, wow, this is so overwhelming, to like I'm actually making it happen. Now I'm interested in it. I'm almost like obsessed with it. So I think like with anything, like if fixing cars, or like if you had someone showing you and you got over the hump and kind of understood a little, you probably get into it, Yeah.
It's something you could be passionate about or be really interested. Like, I feel the same way with school. If you weren't interested in the subject, you didn't give a shit about it.
Yeah.
Or if you feel thrive in it.
If you feel overwhelmed, you immediately just want to blow it off, like with anything,
I spoke to Mom about this too, is that the one thing Mom did with us is that she let us just be us. Like, she said she wished she was stricter. I remember she smacked me in the face till I was like 16. I remember it was like, but she mentioned that too. But like she wasn't stricter. I mean, not stricter, but there wasn't like, go to college or go in the military. I know Uncle Ray really wanted us to go to the military. He really was always like, he was really serious
Thank
about
God.
Yeah, he was really serious about us like military because that was his whole life. You know what I mean? But Mom just kind of let us be us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's really that's how I feel like
I don't think she had a choice. You know what I mean? Because it's like when Dad died, I mean, she did everything on like a waitress salary. You know what I mean? So if
2 or 3 jobs at a time.
She couldn't support us and be there at the same time.
No.
Yeah.
She's on one person.
And I feel like we talked about too. Like she kind of blocked some of the things out. Like I remember her taking me to school for my straight S, but she doesn't remember that. I think it was probably a shitty day or whatever. But just some things, it's like, and this is something she doesn't. We kind of did her own thing. But what I said to her is that for us, what?
And no, it worked out.
I know. I'm saying like for us being kind of running around, you guys. Kind of like being young adults. Early, you guys kind of took over as the dads in the house. And then like us going to shows and getting involved in all that stuff. Like we did pretty good for ourselves, not having the typical structure of like a family set. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we had love, and we got my grandparents really took me on the weekends to Bradley's and bought my Matchbox cars. And I have those memories of our grandparents really being a part of it. And Dick Bag, rest in peace, Dick Bag.
Yeah.
That's a real name.
Yeah.
Well, you guys can all speak to this, but. The whole game on how I thought about Dad and Mom changed when I had a kid.
Yes.
I mean, you guys have had kids before me now, but my daughter's 5. Like a year from now is when I lost Dad. So
shit.
The relationship I have with my daughter at 5, to me, these are all like the most amazing memories we're ever gonna have. But I don't remember being 5. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't either.
But
man.
You know what? My dad had that with me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He had that with me. When he passed, he had all that experience, and I never thought about that until I had a kid.
It's a really good point, man.
It's a good point.
With Mom too, like 3 kids and having to work and hire babysitters, like you know, I find me and my wife doesn't have to work. I'm home all the time when I'm not on tour.
Yeah, we're very lucky,
and we're
man.
still like, wow, this is crazy. And now we're having another kid. But I always catch myself, it's not that crazy. You know, it's
Yeah,
like,
that's true if you think about it, man.
it's like,
And do you feel like, I asked Mom this too, because we're emotional, the Morses. Like, did you feel like we always been emotional, or when you become dads, you get more emotional? I feel like I became super more emotional.
Way worse when you have a kid.
And are we emotional because we became dads, or are we emotional because we don't have a dad? And like, I can't call dad and say, hey, I'm going fishing for the first time with Max, or you remember when you built me this truck, and teach me how to build this truck. So we don't have that. Is that, I think, where we get emotion from, or just we're just emo people anyway?
I think we're emo, but also you and I have the thing where it's like any movie where there's like a dad thing.
Dude, any commercial.
Just kills
I'm sure you
dude.
too.
Well, we were raised by a woman, so we weren't afraid to show our, mom cried in front of us all the time. We weren't afraid to
especially
show.
when we beat her.
We didn't have like a dad going, hey, suck it up,
We did,
which I kind of wish we did.
Me too.
Yeah.
I do sometimes too.
Yeah, but she would do that too, man. Yeah. She would. Like,
She'd check us, man. We got checked, man.
Yeah.
She said she loved to pinch my shoulder. She talked about the other day. I had to grab you by your shoulder and those fingernails.
Nails. She
There's nothing wrong with emotion. It's just like the crazy fear I get that I can't stand about just like, thinking about all the things that could happen to my daughter. Like it's just like it changed what shows I can watch on TV.
Yeah.
It's just like I can't watch anything bad happening to kids. It used to be just pets, because all I had was pets, you know. But like anything now when I see movies with bad stuff happen to kids, or I have to scan past headlines on my phone if it says something about a kid getting killed. Like I can't even do it.
I would say even violence too.
It's maybe weak. In
I
a
feel
way,
so weak,
it's maybe stronger as a person that's full of love and full of life.
Yeah, I feel so. Yeah,
but I feel so weak and scared, and I have to block that shit out of my mind because you can't live your life in fear, man.
You can't. I feel like also violence too. Like I could deal watching movies, but I know just when I had a kid, it's just I think everything changes.
Well, you got a boy too.
No, I know.
Yeah, I mean, God, I wish. I shouldn't say wish, but I got a new one on the way. It's going to be a girl, but I was hoping it'd be a boy because just for that one reason of worrying less,
I asked Mom. I said, was any of us accident? She's like, well, Tracy was really accident prone. I'm like, no, that's not what I mean.
She told me I was an accident.
She did.
She told me I was not planned, straight up.
And who was the most spoiled?
She told out the most spoiled.
You?
Oh, he pointed at Todd.
Me?
I don't know.
Come on, because he got spoiled by grandma and mom.
Oh yeah, Mom said. I think it was you.
Mom said when I almost died in her arms and turned blue.
You did almost die.
She said after that it was a wrap for me. Like
that's
I was
true.
in the hospital like 2 weeks.
Yeah, you were number one after that. After that happened, yeah.
But then I think then we move away, we do our thing, and then like grown up and things change and shit like that.
But listen, when we say spoiled, let's put it in context.
It's love.
We were broke.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the kind of spoiled that rich kids get.
Exactly. I got a Maxbox car every week. I got one from Bradley's every week, a Maxbox car. Yeah. So you think we were poor or were we middle class?
We were poor.
Yeah, because
I think we were lower middle class.
That's I think too.
Because we always lived in a house, so that's not poor.
Oh my God, I would kill to have that house when
you're
Millions of dollars.
When you're living in a place the size of your kitchen right now with 2 kids, which many people do in New York.
Yeah.
That's here. That's rough.
Do you feel like if we had dad, then maybe some of us we would never be musicians, or like we went to college or went to the military, we could have a totally different path, man. Like it's
everything would have been different.
I know.
Everything would have been different. If our dad hadn't died, everything would be different. We would not.
We'd probably be in the same place. I mean, who knows?
I mean, as people say it, everything is leading to something. It's like. I mean, my whole, I'm on my second marriage. I lived with a lot. I was in a lot of relationships that I shouldn't have been in when I was younger.
Thomas had some ladies, man.
Because I wasn't ready. I made a lot of dumb decisions and all that stuff. But all I think about now when I look at my daughter, it's like everything was leading to her being here on this earth.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine if she wasn't.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Well, because once you do become a parent, like. Maybe this is because our dad died, is that my daughter being born was like a whole reset on my operating system. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course.
It's like, okay, this isn't cool anymore. I can't die, and I need to be here for my daughter. I got to.
It makes you want to stay young and healthy.
Yeah, I got to take care of my health. I got to be here.
It takes away that whole "I'll just give up and live on the beach" thing.
Yeah, you can't. You can't do it. Yeah. Trust me. There's been times in the last few years I'm like, just screw it, man. I just want to live on the beach. You know? But you can't. You got to take care of your kid. And sometimes I feel like maybe I've overdone it because I didn't have a dad. But you don't know. But yeah, I was driving with Vivian the other day, and I'm like, you've had me 6 years more than. I had my dad.
Yeah.
And I think about that too because we think about our kids as kids. Well, I mean, yours is still young enough, but it's like, oh, they're not going to remember that. They're not going to remember that. And then you realize, oh yeah, I remember shit from the time I was like 5, 6, 7, 8. I can't pull tricks on her anymore.
Well, you ever scared? Like, I know this is a thing where I'm sure we talked about in the past, like when you were going to turn dad's age, the fear of what could happen to you. I know it was like not hereditary. It was
terrifying.
a birth defect.
Birth defect, yeah.
But that was always scary. Okay, Tracy's turning that age.
What was it?
34.
34?
Yeah. And it wasn't hereditary, you know what I mean?
No.
So, like, that's pretty scary, too.
No, I went and did the whole running on a treadmill with all the...
Me too.
With all the stuff on my chest and the whole...
I just wanted a bionic arm, but maybe
Well, I mean, you got to put it in context, too. We all... I don't know about Tracy, but we all exercise every day.
Yeah.
I exercise every day. And Dad was, like, smoking cigarettes, eating steaks, not exercising, not going to the doctor ever.
Yeah, that
those
was
are all factors, that
he was he couldn't afford to get the health care he needed before. And then Mom said he came from a really fucked up household. Then when he met her, he found true love, and everything changed as a person. Like
everything changed
for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
the larger your circle of love grows, that changes the way you see the world. Because when it's just you, you're allowed to be jaded, and you're allowed to have that thought. I had a thought like, I did all this crazy stuff with Juliet when I was in her band and stuff. I never, hung out with like Rod Stewart and Elton John and like all this crazy stuff that I never thought I'd do in music. And then when that all crashed and burned and I was done, like I was literally having thoughts of like, okay, I'm done. I'll go be homeless or like I like.
What year was
spent
that?
all my money.
What year was that?
That was like 2008.
Okay.
I got divorced. I was out of Juliet's band. I was just getting hammered all the time, and I had that thought for a moment, like that was it. That was the highest I'm gonna go, and I'm cool with that. Most people don't get to do what I did, and I'm just gonna give up, And I'm
damn.
But when I
and then you read Napoleon Hill's book.
I did. Then I read Think and Grow Rich, and I did Tony Robbins' Personal Power.
Yeah.
And I read, I'm still reading.
So let's go to
Secret. Did you read The Secret?
No, I'll check it out. Let's go to that section now. Okay, let's go to music now. So all right. So anyway, they had Outcrowd. That you guys were together for how many years?
9 years.
And it's because of Outcrowd that H2O actually signed to Blackout because Outcrowd was on Blackout.
That's right.
So then Todd and TF, that band's over. Then Todd Morse joins H2O. Eric Rice leaves, and Max Kapshar leaves also. And then at that point, you're still in Rhode Island, right, Tracy?
No, I'm here by now.
Okay, so Tracy, what year did you move to California?
91.
Tracy was 91.
So maybe it was...
Working at Panavision.
Yep.
Tracy's been in the movie industry for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Directed movies, did movies, fucking produced movies.
Writing movies.
Amazing artist. He's that guy in the family. And he's a musician also, and a singer. And then Todd Morse joins H2O. That's a whole different episode, but I want to fast forward after that to Juliet Lewis and the Licks. So basically, my wife worked with Deirdre Lewis at the Beauty Bar in New York City. They became really friends, and that's Juliet Lewis's sister.
I didn't know it was from the Beauty Bar.
Yeah, it was a Beauty Bar, and then they lived in Philly. They always come to our shows and see H2O growing up. And then fast forward, I end up meeting Juliet Lewis at Amoeba Records to hand her off a copy of the Go CD to listen to H2O. And then Todd Morse ends up going to her house with like a boombox auditioning for her. Correct?
That's right. But I feel like
crazy,
you meeting her at the record store was because I was trying to audition for her, right?
Yeah, I had to give it to her. I had to give it to her. Yeah. So Deirdre Lewis hit us up about a guitar player. Then we told you.
Yeah.
And then we, of course, Todd Morse do that. And I fucked up and doing it because then Todd went left H2O and then went with Julie Lewis and the Licks for years. But I love that group. Group's amazing.
To my credit, I thought you were done with H2O.
Yeah, because we had a hiatus in between Go and Nothing to Prove.
No, you were doing Hazen Street.
I was doing Hazen Street. You're right. Word.
So I thought you were done too. So I was just trying to
Todd Morse is correct.
Cover my ass.
Yeah, Todd was covering his ass. I was doing Hazen Street. You're right.
Yeah.
H2O was on a hiatus.
Yeah.
I was doing Hazen Street. Todd Morse like, fuck, I'm going to do Julie Lewis and the Licks. And that went way longer than Hazen Street. And that was a great fucking group. And so that took you all over the place, right?
Dude, in 5 years, we doubled the time that we circled the globe that H2O had done already. Like
Okay.
it's like unbelievable. But you missed the crazy part, which was I had to drive to her house
Yeah.
with a little practice amp by myself.
Okay.
No one else around. Knock on her door, go in her house, never met her, just me and her, and she said, "Okay, play guitar." Like I've never done anything. I was in H2O. I came up in a hardcore punk rock. I've never done anything like that before. I don't even know. I can't even fathom what I was thinking or what I played or anything.
But dude, you've been writing. You were writing songs for 20 freaking years before that.
Yeah.
All your stuff without crowd
Yep.
was much different than H2O.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, it was like more melodic type shit.
Yeah, but for a while I was just plugged straight into an amp and play hardcore punk rock. And
Yeah.
It's been a while since I did anything else.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, with Juliet, it was just, doors opened fast because she was an actress, but the only people that were interested in the beginning were fans of hers and of her movies.
Gotcha.
And so that was, and I got it for what it was. But Alicia Moore, Pink, was at our very first show. We played at a sushi joint.
Okay.
in Silver Lake.
That's where that came from.
That's where I ended up meeting her.
Okay.
But Juliet, I got to hand it to her, was like down to prove herself as a musician.
Mm-hmm.
So we just kept coming back to Europe, coming back to the UK, coming back. Good,
grinding. I remember
grinding,
all that.
grinding. And yes, we got a lot of doors open because she was Juliet. We got to open for the Foo
But she's
Fighters.
a great performer and singer, man.
But eventually
Great
we had music fans. Like
Yeah.
we sold out the Astoria.
I remember that.
You can't sell out the Astoria with just stalker movie fans of Juliet.
Totally.
It was like music people. And so that was cool. It was cool. I actually watched a band just like I did with H2O. I watched a band build from like playing the sushi place in LA to
a basement or something.
Playing 1,000 people. But it happened fast because it was Juliet. You know, and because and we ended up getting Dave to play on a record.
Yeah, Dave Grohl. And how many years was that band together?
That part of the band was 5 years, from me showing up at her house to us playing Hyde Park to 90,000 people.
That's
with the
crazy,
Foo Fighters.
man.
It's like, 5 years.
Give me one crazy story, because I remember one time you're like, I think you had dinner with like David Blaine or fucking Elton John or some shit. I forgot what it was. Like
that was all.
That took you into a whole different world.
That was all
insanity.
in one night. So we were living in London in a hotel rehearsing for a European tour while Juliet did a play.
Oh, shit, I remember that. Jesus Christ.
I was out of the country for 4 months. This is part of the reason my life back here dissolved.
Oh shit, I remember that.
So one night we went to see her play, and when we went backstage, David Blaine was back there and Woody Harrelson, and we're like, let's go out. So I mean, I could go off about the tricks that David Blaine was doing. Like,
I'm sure.
Just right in front of my face, just unbelievable. And Woody Harrelson is the coolest dude ever. He's so cool. I've ran into him years later, and he was like, "Oh, the licks! I tell everyone about you." I'm like,
shit.
"Oh, I'm not in the band anymore." So we went that night to a party at Elton John's house, which is crazy.
Damn.
A couple of nights before, we had gone to the GQ Awards.
Yeah.
And Russell Brand was hosting, and Russell Brand made a joke about having sex with Rod Stewart's daughter. And Rod Stewart stood up. It was all people sitting at tables, and like was calling Russell Brand out to a fight. I'll fuck you up. Don't talk to my daughter like that. He's like 7 years old, and I was like, this guy's my fucking hero. So that night I met him and got a picture of him. The next night was the night we went to Elton John's house, and as we're walking in, there's Rod Stewart again, and I'm just like, oh, he's my buddy. I met him the other night. And I was like, "Hey, man, remember me from last night?" I don't think you remember.
Oh shit!
But it was us and the Killers there at Elton John's house, and I almost got in trouble for touching the statue. But I wanted to say that the coolest thing about that night was at the end of the night, David Blaine was just blowing people's minds all freaking night.
Dude's incredible.
You guys know who I'm talking about.
He's incredible.
I could go off about the thing, I know you've seen this on TV, but I saw it up close. We ended up at a nightclub. We're all sitting at the nightclub, and he orders champagne, and they bring champagne glasses over. Everyone's drinking champagne, and some chick comes up and tries to nudge up next to David Blaine. And she's like, oh, I want some champagne. And he's like, oh, okay. He takes the champagne and just not even looking, just starts just pouring it. Like her glass is here and just missing the glass and just pouring it all over the table. It goes all over her lap. She's like, oh, freaks out. And she's like, goes to get up. He goes, wait. And then he takes her glass and just goes, starts eating her champagne glass, chews all the glass, eats the entire glass right in front of all of us.
Holy shit, dude.
I'm not even joking.
No blood, nothing?
No blood, nothing. Yeah.
It wasn't a fake glass?
Right in front of my eyes.
Wow.
Unless, I don't know how he could have planned that out because it seemed like it was a random night and I didn't know we were going to end up at this place. But like, that sticks in my mind. Oh, you should see his latest special. The stuff he does is insane.
Holy shit!
Have you seen him put that metal thing through his hand?
Yeah, I've seen that on some
in front of celebrities.
Yeah. He did something in front of Harrison Ford. It was crazy.
Yeah. He was at Crossroads last year. Heard in the room with Homeboy with Woody Harrelson in the back.
Oh yeah.
He was coughing up frogs out of his mouth. A bunch of frogs.
I've seen him do that. He literally swallows them and they live in his stomach for like an hour or so before he does that trick. That's how he does it.
Fills up with water and stuff.
Yeah, he drinks a bunch of water. Then he swallows frogs. They live in his stomach.
Pukes them out.
And then he goes out somewhere and says, "Oh, check this out." That's in his. That's
wow, man.
That's commitment.
We could go on forever about David.
Okay,
Blaine.
so that Juliette Lewis and Licks, and then when did Osprey? So after that was after that. And then Osprey.
After that, I started Petty Cash with the guys
right.
in the Licks. Yeah,
Great band.
So I had quit the Licks. Juliette was going to take a break from touring, but I loved all those dudes so much. I thought, how can we keep playing together?
Yeah.
So we ended up doing Petty Cash downstairs before Steel Panther at the Key Club.
Okay, that's right.
And while I was doing that, the production manager from Offspring, they had just fired the guy that does what I do, came to the show, saw it, and said, "Hey, do you want to audition for the Offspring?" I know it sounds like one of those stories that never happens, but yeah. But I still had to go like against 40 people.
Then how many years in Offspring now?
Could be 10 years in May.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, Todd's the type of person. As a screenwriter, I've always wanted to write a movie about this guy who he's born in. His karma bank is so fucking full. He knows the more he fucks up, the better things are gonna get. Like Todd's the type of guy who like bend over to pick up $1 and then be shot with a bag of gold. You know what I mean? Like that's,
I wish it were true,
that's
brother.
that's the way your life is.
It's called
dude.
manifest, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do it in a positive way now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The mind can't conceive, right?
That's right.
And then Tracy, your music too. So you started doing music when in the 90s?
No, like I was in like a high school band and did it all in Newport and then in upstate New York. And then when I got to LA, I was in that goth band, Romantic Torture, for a while. And now I'm doing Sea Lion, which was just kind of fun, heavy rock band.
Romantic Torture was all Latinos and you, correct?
Yeah. And,
awesome.
we toured around with like Gene Loves Jezebel.
Or another name for that band, Marriage.
Marriage. Yeah. And then we just had our 25-year reunion gig at the Whiskey, which is great. And no, I will always do music. I always love being on stage.
And then tell the listeners, because there's none yet, but the listeners, once this goes live, about you're into horror shit. Like you're really into horror shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, horror movie writing and
tell us about the movie. You made a movie, and also you've done a lot of cool shit, like on sets and behind the scenes shit with movie stuff, like Halloween and Jason.
Yeah, makeup effects. I done makeup effects, but mostly I've been writing and directing horror movies for like the last 12 years. I had a movie named called Creature that came out.
And that was the big. That was the one that most
huge.
Most
I went out to theaters and.
If you're listening, Creature.
I got a few things on Amazon right now. One's called. It was called. See how they run now. It's called Haunting a Foster Cabin. And, but I've written 47 feature screenplays, 12 pilots, and all sorts of stuff. So I'm always writing and writing.
So what? Since I knew your music too, but what got you into that as a young kid? Like
into horror movies?
Yeah, like
I always loved horror movies. As a matter of fact, Todd Morse sealed the deal with horror movies. When I was like, whenever like Grease came out, we loved Grease. I went to go see Grease, and then I snuck in to see the Amityville Horror instead. Okay. And so we were still living on the street, the last house we lived before Newport.
Okay.
And I came home. I'm trying not to be fucking scared about shit. You know what I mean? Mom's like, "How was it?" And I couldn't tell a lie. I'm like, I snuck in and saw the Amityville Horror. And she's like, "Are you terrified?" I'm like, "No, it's fine." And in my head, I'm like, pig's eyes and blood and fucking, I'm just I'm losing my shit. And at that time, both our bedrooms were in the basement, so I had to walk down the stairs through Todd's room to get to my room. So Todd hears all this shit. I walk down the stairs. He's like, "Ah!" And I'm like fucking screaming, pee just coming out of my pants, just fucking totally terrified. And then I
was a terrible child.
But the best part is, mom was dating the barber at the time, Bill the barber.
Bill Greco?
Yeah, that was it. And he's like, Todd shouldn't have done that to Tracy. I'm going to go scare Todd. So I'm in Todd's room, fucking just wrestling with him. I got a pillow over his fucking head. Bill Greco comes to the window with like the flashlight and the Freddy Krueger fucking scraping against the thing.
Window.
Yeah, I turn. I'm like, more poopy. I was just fucking terrified. But I've always loved that.
Ever since then.
I've loved it. I've loved horror movies. I love the excitement that it gives me.
Speaking of Bill Greco,
I was going to say something about that.
now
too.
that he brought it up, he was a musician.
Yeah, he's
he's
taught
the
us
first
that song, Cotton Candy. Yeah,
he taught me how to play.
Oh my God,
He taught
cotton
me how
candy.
to taught me how to play bar chords. Like my first
Holy
bar chords.
shit.
Yeah.
Cotton candy, wrapped in paper, wrapped in paper.
Oh, how good it tastes to me.
Taste to me, taste to me. Where it comes from. Holy shit.
Yeah. You never forget a song, man.
Oh, shit. And then we also had
You know what's really funny is
Linda. Come on, man.
Linda.
Linda. She's real
Bum,
fine.
bum, bum.
She is mine, and nobody else can have her. She's super sweet and very neat.
yeah.
And I'll tell you, her name is
One. Bum, bum, bum.
Linda.
Hold on.
We wrote that about our mom.
We did.
This shit is tight.
You know what always makes me think about those songs we wrote for Mom? You've seen Spinal Tap, right?
Yeah.
You know how when they're going back and talking about the first song she wrote, the first song that they ever wrote,
That comes out?
It sounds like one of those songs.
Oh, really?
When they're going back and remember what the, I gotta think of the specific scene now. I'm throwing everyone off, but you know, Spinal Tap is so funny. Everyone, just so you know.
Yeah, so that was like, I guess that's the first song that we wrote, I guess, in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Linda.
Yeah.
Shout out to Linda Morse. And you know what? Like Bill Greco and then Jim, nobody was ever good for Mom after that. I feel like.
You know,
She even said that maybe Bill Greco was, but Jim was a piece of shit. He kicked me out of the house at 17.
see, I didn't know him. I was living
He'd skin
away.
squirrels and have them in the garage and make
Yeah, I
fucking
remember
squirrel
that.
soup.
Yeah. That's pretty gnarly.
I got an ultimatum. I had to get a job. They kicked me out. Then I got a job right after they kicked me out. Mom dropped me off at the steakhouse. I was a busboy there. No, a
Really?
dishwasher. Yeah.
Mom kicked me out too, bro. Just so you know.
Well, how old were you?
18.
I was 17 though. So I think that was
Wait,
good.
she didn't kick me out, but I left. And when I tried to go back, she's like, nah.
Okay, so so in a sense, like back then, I was really pissed at her. But in hindsight, it was really a good thing she did to get us on our own. But that was back then, I blamed her for being with that guy Jim.
Yeah.
He was a fucking asshole. He was so mean,
Yeah.
a mustache, chain smoked. Then he cheated on her. He was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So I kind of regretted. I kind of was bummed at that situation. I kind of maybe that kind of stuck in me for a while. I moved to New York. I was like, fuck that. But then I realized now, like that was actually a good thing because I did go to New York by myself and things happened from there. You know, like
Yeah.
where'd you go when she kicked you out? You went to Rusty Pistachios.
I move across the street with Rusty.
I remember that shit. You were right across the street.
I lived in his closet.
It was like $60 rent.
Yeah, it was.
Where?
And-
Maryland?
And Tracy's and Todd at Rusty's, and then we put mattresses against the wall and slam dance in his apartment.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
We made holes in the wall. We put a skate ramp inside his apartment.
And then
Like
one time you guys threw me out, locked me out in my underwear. One of you guys, did Rusty or Todd, did that
Yeah.
to me. I think it was Rusty.
Yeah.
I remember taking shits in the woods on the way home from school. Like I couldn't make it. I'd go to the bathroom after school.
So how about that? Mom kicked me out, and I was like right across the street, like, "Hey, Mom."
Oh shit! And you remember Omni, the maintenance dude? Super nice.
Not
The old
really.
guy that worked there and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of those memories I feel like we block out. Or some of
Yeah.
it's like you don't want to think about some shit in the Maryland stuff.
I just got sad actually thinking about this stuff.
Oh shit! I'm sorry, man.
That's all right.
So
I remember looking out at Mom's window across the street, being like, "Why can't I be home?" You know.
I do want to. I want to have you back with Rusty and Adam and do like
Yeah.
a real H2O one because there's so much to talk about. But we talked about a lot of shit. We got a lot of shit to talk about. So I said this to Mom too. Like we've always been like not negative family. Even all the shit we've been through, we've always had fun. We weren't like depressed kids. We weren't like on medication.
Nope.
No.
I mean, maybe you smoked weed.
They probably would have put us on it
Yeah.
if we were you know.
I think I did a little bit of a Ritalin. Mom put me on for being hyper and shit. But like, I feel like we weren't like, I'm using my train of thought. Like we didn't have to. We like just we did other ways. We like found music and skateboard, and that's how
Right.
we vented. And that's how we not escaped because we weren't escaping. We had a good life. But
that stuff saved my life from,
Yeah,
from
for
a
sure.
life of crime. I mean, it really did.
I feel like me too,
Skateboarding and
skateboarding.
music.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you guys for the punk rock skateboarding and also like scaring me straight in a sense. But like in life now, as your parents and stuff, and as your music careers and everything we do, is that what keeps you besides your kid, obviously, what keeps you positive, what gets you through the day with all the shit with Trump and all the negative things on the news and stuff, without just blocking it out. I feel like sometimes I live in a PMA bubble. I don't look at anything and just go through life and not watch the news. And that you shouldn't live like that either. You should pay attention.
Well,
what makes you get through that?
Well, I say this to people all the time too. Is obviously, I wish I watched less news. I wish I could tune it out. But then all of a sudden I don't want to be apathetic either. But you have to watch it knowing that there's still way more good and positivity in the world than what's on the news. That's just what gets viewers. That's what gets people. You know, no one's gonna watch a channel about puppies and you know
his Instagram page for that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it took me a while to get this too. Is it, you know, the good, the love, and the positivity in the world is kind of unspoken. That's what you would just expect all humans have. Right,
and then they all have it,
but
usually.
But the bad side of people is shouted in your face all the time.
I know there's more doing good than bad.
So you have to actually train yourself to see every situation in a way, every problem as what's the solution, not oh fuck this problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
and just blow it off.
Yeah.
Well, it's also part of how we are as people. Like, there's not going to be a news station that's going to survive on good stories only.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People aren't going to do that. If their lives are all negative, they need to feed on the negative. You know what I mean? Like, that's what the balance is. But I think the whole Trump thing is like, he will make America great again in the way that smart people will rise up against him. You know what I mean? It's like, I've never been so conscious of everything that's fucking going on in my entire life.
Me either.
You know what I mean? And that man has slapped the apathy out of me. Like, it's just, you need to do shit. You need to be pay attention stuff, because you need to put the energy in behind it to get your agenda to where it needs to go, or else guys like him will steamroll over the entire
100%.
company. You know, he won over apathy. He won because we're all like, no fucking way he's going to win.
Exactly.
There's no way. No way. And now he has, and that has slapped the apathy of what I do every single freaking day.
That's a good point.
There's another factor too, which is, and this happens a lot, especially like in small towns and rural towns where he has most of his followers, which is people bond over a common enemy. They feel like a sense of belonging, hating the Democrats and hating immigrants and all that. They feel like they belong to something, hating something together. You know, like people bond over a common enemy.
That's usually the first thing people do. Yeah,
100%.
And it used to be the common enemy was anybody against the United States, and we would be together as Americans.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what it used to be. Now it's all separated into who's your enemy, and you know, someone needs to bring it back to where. And I don't even think Obama did this. I think Obama inspired all of us who were so sick of racism and you know, and just wanted to know that our country was not a racist country. And when he got elected, we were like, yes, this is the greatest thing ever. But that wasn't everybody. There was that whole segment that voted for Trump.
The rocks and shit.
That fired them up. The people that are racist and the people that think this country should be all look the same, that fired them up. And so it was kind of, he caused what ended up happening at the same time.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So whereas it bonded all the positive, open-minded, inclusive people, it also bonded them, and thus it was a separation. You know what
100%.
I mean? So
it's bringing out the best of everybody and the worst of everybody too at the same time.
Yeah.
And the millennials, all the people stepping up. There's so many young people doing shit now too. Like, and the power of social media, even though it could be a shitty place sometimes, it really helps too, spreading messages.
Well, the fucking millennials better do something, because if they all go out and vote, then we can get rid of this thing right now.
Yeah.
If
People
the
gotta vote.
millennials have the power.
In 2 weeks, we can nip it in the fucking bud.
But do you see? I mean, I know. Do you see that? Do you, in your mind, do you believe that all the millennials are going to go vote in the midterm elections?
I want to believe. I mean,
But
Bush got elected twice.
Yeah.
No, seriously, everybody fucking hated him, dude.
I know.
And now people are like, damn, Bush was not bad.
Yeah, I know.
You know, this guy said he was a nationalist this week.
Yeah. If this country now runs on the lesser of evils, we're fucked. You know what I mean? Yeah. We need the good.
So how do you make it through each day? Like how do you make it through the day and be happy and smile and
well, I'm a Buddhist as well, so it's like, I mean, that's it. My operating system is just be kind anyway. Like, that's how I go.
Yeah.
And so I got my daughter to look out for. I got, you know, You know what? Creativity. I'm always
Totally.
creating. I'm always writing,
Yeah.
doing music, socializing with people, talking about ideas,
Living.
Yeah.
You know, I try not to be. Don't get me wrong. I got my Netflix too, but it's like, you know,
But sometimes it's
I
hard.
try not to be idle. You know.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's hard to get down that wormhole, looking at shit and reading shit, and it gets really dark and
It is.
fucking. It's like
It is.
It is.
What-
But the thing is, there's people like you and like Todd and like a lot of people that are going to listen to this who look at it as a dark thing, but not something that's not that you can't overcome.
or fix. Yeah.
You know what I
totally
mean? Your whole
change,
thing
yeah.
with the PMA.
Yeah, change
and it's
it.
true. It's like, yeah, I'm looking at it. I can change. Like you need to look at it as face value and not take it in.
Yeah.
You know, you need to know this is something that you can push against and push aside.
People are digesting so much every day.
I know.
man.
I know people that
but you
literally
can't do it.
Yeah.
literally let Trump being elected ruin their lives for like
Yeah.
a year. You know, like
Really
they were
fucked
just
them up.
miserable.
Well, this is
They
where you
just-
need
they
a
just-
backhand
They
grow
just
up.
couldn't be happy. But you can take
There's
that
really
part.
dad to step in and smack you. Grow up, son.
Grow
Yeah.
up, son.
You can take
Man
that.
up.
You can take that power away. You know
Yeah.
how your paradigm, how you view every situation is how that situation is. That's it.
Yeah.
Our perceptions of things are how they are,
They are.
because that affects how you are emotionally. That affects what you do in your life.
Yeah.
Even if in reality they're not went that way, your perception defines who you are. So you know, I mean, I was shocked when he got elected, but
It was crazy. I mean, watching the whole shit. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, honestly, like, music is literally like my medication. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
for everything. I get
Such an
depressed.
outlet, man.
I get depressed if I go too long without doing something, you know, musically.
Yeah.
So
I like exercise. I like sweating every day too.
exercise too. Yeah, I'll go crazy if I don't exercise. But
It's crazy. That's correct, but it's crazy how emotional I was crying when Obama won. Watching that, we were on tour. It was in the
We were
South.
together. We were in a hotel room,
I was
yeah.
so excited, and then watching Trump get elected, and how I feel like crying the opposite kind of tears. I couldn't believe it, man. I felt so defeated, man.
I wasn't shocked. I really
was
wasn't. I wasn't shocked. And the one reason it wasn't about anything else, it was that he was famous. That's all.
Yeah.
Because
Our
fame
country's
rules,
a reality
fame
show
rules
now.
everything in this country.
Kardashians run this country
yeah,
too.
Exactly. Kardashians are famous, you know, basically for nothing. They have more power. You know, she can walk into the president's office and get a person out of jail. You know,
She did.
Why didn't she walk in there and get Stephen Avery out? Why don't she walk in there? You
We're
know,
making a murder
get-
part 2 right now. It's
Yeah,
Kinda
so
went
good.
so into it, man.
You watch this like part 2?
Yeah, yeah.
2 more things I'll say before we go. 2 things. Mom mentioned something to me too is very interesting because I never talk about with you guys as grown-ups. I know as kids we did our first communion. We were raised Catholic. We went to church all the time, and then we got really forced to go to church more after Dad died and stuff. But she told me she was a Christian, which I never knew. Not that it matters because I love my mom. But do you guys are believers? Not to get too religious, but it seems like you guys. I don't think you are, but like, when did that change for you? When you get on your own?
Yeah, well, I mean,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I mean, I was an altar boy and all that stuff
Yeah, I
too. The
remember
second
that.
Dad died, I'm like, there's no God. And I spent a lot of
Yeah, I'm
time
gonna-
in my 20s and stuff. I tried, I looked into Judaism and Hare Krishnaism and like I kind of researched all that stuff.
yeah.
And right now I call myself a Buddhist, but it's philosophy more than religion. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Now I'm an atheist Buddhist, is what I am.
Todd Morse.
I was.
Can I say one thing about you? Mom told me one thing. She said at one point, it's really sad to say this, but I want to say it because it's powerful. Is that after Dad passed, she came home once. There was a sign on the tree where it said "fuck God."
Yeah.
Did you put on a tree in front of the house?
Maybe I did. I mean, I know that turned me off to it because he.
That's powerful because we were so forced into
maybe,
church. And
maybe
stuff.
he knew he was sick, but right the year before he died, he took his first communion.
Yeah, Mom told me that.
Yeah, that was
jo-
weird.
he
That's
joined the
fucking
church and all that stuff.
crazy.
And so to me, that was like, oh, that's what you get for joining the church. I just want to throw something out in this conversation. Do you know the difference between a Catholic and a Christian?
Please tell me.
Yeah.
Mom tried to tell me. Mom,
I don't.
Mom said on
Yeah.
the podcast that somebody that doesn't go to church. Mom tried breaking it down in the first episode.
So Christian kind of is the basic, that is the board that all these religions attach.
Who believes Christ is the Son of God?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Protestant, Catholic, Presbyterian, like that. So Christian, yeah, anyone that believes that Christ is the Son of God
Is Christian.
That's what they hang their religious to.
Okay.
That's basically it. So you can be a Catholic. If you're a Catholic, you're obviously a Christian. If
Yeah.
you're this, you're obviously a
My
Christian.
mom was trying to say it was kind of the same, and I mean that she didn't go to church. And I don't know her breakdowns I heard before.
But it's not. I don't know it.
But I mean, if we're talking about religion, Think and Grow Rich is the same exact thing as praying, meditation is the same thing as praying. I mean, I get why they had to all tie that all to real people and do all these stories because there wasn't a lot of information back then. And also, people use religions to manipulate people.
They really do.
The pagans before Christianity took it over, they thought that women were the gods.
Yeah,
and that all got changed and shamed.
Yeah,
sex got shamed and everything when the Catholic Church and the Holy Bible took over and all that stuff like that. So it also has been used to manipulate people. But there's no difference between I meditate every day. I do like a meditation every day.
Yeah, Moon does too.
And I give gratitude for all the things that I have, which is no different than when you're sitting down going, "Dear Jesus, thank you for this food. Thank you for." That's just gratitude. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing every year. But people exploit the differences. We all want the same things. We all want to connect to this universe. And I'm not going to get all weird and hippie on everyone, but our brain waves are no different than cell phone waves and TV waves. They are going somewhere, and they are collecting. When you do a show, when someone does a show, and the whole crowd is singing along,
fucking awesome.
Everyone's on one wavelength.
Yeah,
that's what's so incredible about music.
It's powerful, man.
It's powerful. That's like church.
Yeah,
it's just like church. It's no different when the priest is saying the words and people are repeating them and everyone and peace be with you. And that was my favorite part of church.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
Turn to strangers and
I remember
shake their
that.
hand, that was the only part I thought, oh, this is legit. This is but
when do you think you realized that it wasn't for you? When you lived on your own and left the house?
Yeah.
All right, last two things. Todd, Tracy, did one of us give a wedgie over our head once before? And we used to give wedgies, right?
I can't remember if we did it to you or him.
I think it was to you.
It was a wedgie over the face, though. It was like a
no. It was a wedgie from behind all the way.
Oh, that's right.
Forehead.
So
like
it
stuck like this.
So it pulled your head back.
I don't know if it was me or you.
I love how you segue from Jesus to wedgie over the head.
I want to lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Tracy, is there something you want to plug real quick that you're working on? Anything right now, or
no, not really.
What's your Instagram? People can follow you and see what's up with you.
It's called The Morse is Strong with Us.
And Todd Morse has a new solo record coming out.
That's right. I have a solo record coming out. I'm trying to get it out by my birthday, January 21st, 2019. And it's only going to be available on my website, toddmorse.com. If you go there right now, it's not up yet, so don't trip out. But I'm just going to sell a $10 digital record, just myself.
DIY dad.
Not on Spotify, not streaming, you see major artists with millions of streams getting $2,000 checks from that shit. We just had the Music Monetization Act.
I saw that.
But it's not really going to go in effect by the time my record comes out. So I'm trying to raise two kids. I'm putting out my own.
Todd's got a baby on the way, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations, Todd.
I've been in the music business for 22 years, and I've never made a solo record before. I'm super proud of it. So look for my site, toddmorse.com, at the beginning of the year.
And your IG's at Todd's Planet.
All my IGs are Todd's. All my socials are Todd's Planet.
And
Twitter,
catch Todd playing with
Twitter,
Offspring, too.
Facebook, yes. And
we're going there right now.
I'm on tour with Offspring. I'm playing tonight with Offspring.
Yeah,
I don't know when this is coming out. So
it'll be up before that. I want to thank you. I want to thank you guys for being my brothers, for getting me on the path without even trying of music and skateboarding and actually being straight edge because you guys. Because when I heard the Sex Pistols, I couldn't really relate to never mind the Bullocks and all this shit. I didn't know what it really meant. Anarchy in the UK, what the fuck's the UK?
Yeah.
And then I found Minor Threat through you and through thrash and skateboarding, so that put me on the path. And so, I don't know. So, thank you guys for that. So after that podcast was over and we were about to leave, my brother Tracy said he had one more story that he wanted to tell that me and Todd had actually never heard. It's pretty fucking crazy. So here it is.
Embellished it a little bit, but the story's like this. So about a month before Dad died, this insurance salesman came down from Boston and sold them a $20,000 life insurance policy for Dad.
Okay.
And it was going to cost him like $1.50 a month, which is way over their fucking budget. Like, that was expensive to them.
Holy shit.
But they did it. And they made a $1.50 payment, and a month later, Dad died.
Holy shit, man.
They got my mom got the $20,000 check and put it in the freezer. She refused to fucking cash it. She refused to cash it because she couldn't believe that the love of her life was only worth $20,000. And at this point in time, she starts drinking.
You know this shit, Todd?
She's thinking about giving us away to Grandma and Grandpa.
She thought about giving us away?
Yeah, she couldn't handle it all. This is from her mouth.
Man, this is some...
She's like, she was 25 or 26 years old. She didn't know what to do with her life. She didn't know anything. So she's going through a really hard time. And then once a month, this insurance salesman starts coming down from Boston saying, Linda, you got to cash the check.
Okay.
And she's like, I can't do it. So after like 3 or 4 months, they start having a little romance. They start having a little relationship.
Got you.
And it's with her romance with this insurance salesman from Boston that got her to cash the check, buy that house that we all lived in for $10,000. We lived. She bought that house for $10,000. Wow! But then she burned through the other $10,000
cigarettes?
in just heating it for 5 years. The cost of oil back then was fucking ridiculous.
Holy shit!
So I told Mom, hey, Mom, I'm going to write this story about what you told me because it makes a great Lifetime movie. But just so you know, I embellished all this shit about you having the affair with this guy from Boston to make it more interesting. And she's like, no, that's exactly what happened.
Holy shit.
But he was married and there was all this other shit. But if this insurance guy didn't come back and get her to cash the check, we would have all been living at fucking grandma's, homeless. She would have just drank herself to death. And that's a true story.
I didn't know this shit, Todd. Did you?
This whole day is breaking my fucking heart, man.
It's a true story.
Dude, are you serious?
Yeah.
And Mom had an affair with a guy?
Well, hopefully it was a guy.
But
yeah, but I mean, like that was the whole thing. Is like Dad's life. She got $20,000 off of $1.50.
that's fucking crazy. And then he passed right after that.
Yeah, and that's how we kind of get going. Huh?
Buy a house for $10,000.
Yeah.
You couldn't pay me $10,000 to move back there.
No. Yeah, she bought that house we lived in, that 2-floor, all that shit for $10,000. The one with the backyard we were talking about.
With the shed we smashed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You can ask her about it. It's crazy.
Thank you for that, man.
Yeah, it's a really cool story.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. Please rate, review, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet to this podcast, please do that. And whatever platform you are listening to this on, I'm glad you found me. You can rate me and review me on there also. So thank you guys sincerely for the support. I cannot wait for you guys to hear the next one.